The nation of Qatar, unfortunately, has historically been a funder of terrorism at a very high level.
We're signing a letter of acceptance to build a Qatari Emiri Air Force facility at the Mountain Home Air Base in Idaho. The location will be host a contingent of Qatari F-15s and pilots to enhance our combined training, increase lethality, interoperability.
A Qatari airbase in Idaho, announced by a defense secretary and blessed by Trump himself. Washington calls it routine. His loyalists call it betrayal. So why is America training Qatar's fighter pilots just months after Israel bombed Doha? US Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth announced on October 10th that the US will allow Qatar to build an Air Force facility at Mountain Home Air Force Base in Idaho, which will host Qatari F-15 fighter jets and pilots who will train alongside US troops. The announcement came as Hegseth thanked Qatar for its role in securing a ceasefire in Gaza as he welcomed Qatar's defense minister to the Pentagon on October 10th.
I'm also proud that today we're signing a letter of acceptance to build a Qatari Emiri Air Force facility at the Mountain Home Air Base in Idaho. The location will be host a contingent of Qatari F-15s and pilots to enhance our combined training, increase lethality, interoperability. It's just another example of our partnership. And I hope you know, Your Excellency, that you can count on us. We saw in Midnight Hammer, in those moments when we needed support in the region, that Qatar was there without a doubt, without a blink. And that has meant a great deal. I've had the opportunity to see that firsthand operationally. I want to thank you. I want to thank your country for that, for hosting our troops, and it's wonderful to welcome you to the Pentagon.
The announcement of the deal comes just weeks after Trump signed an executive order for the US to guarantee the security of Qatar, a significant commitment to a non-NATO Arab ally. Israel had bombed Qatar several days earlier as part of an operation against Hamas officials living in Doha. But sources told CNN that the plan to build the Qatari facility has been in the works for several years, dating back to the previous administration. A US official said the agreement with Qatar is routine and something the Air Force has done for decades with other partner nations, including Germany and Singapore. Hegseth later wrote in a post on X,
"The U.S. military has a long-standing partnership with Qatar, including today's announced cooperation with F-15QA aircraft. However, to be clear, Qatar will not have their own base in the United States, nor anything like a base. We control the existing base like we do with all partners."
Qatar's facility at Mountain Home will not be a traditional military base. The facility will be built from the ground up and used to help train Qatari pilots. Qatar placed a $12 billion order with the US for 36 of the F-15 fighter jets in 2017. However, the country's airspace is small and its terrain mostly flat desert, limiting the ability to train pilots for various scenarios, a source familiar with the deal told Axios. However, critics argue that the agreement also raises at least the appearance of a conflict of interest, since Qatar gifted Trump a luxury Boeing 747 jumbo jet valued around $400 million.
Trump stands to benefit from actions that the government of Qatar is taking, and he's making specific decisions that affect Qatar and that are beneficial to Qatar. We don't know that he's being influenced in his decision-making, but there's plenty of reasons to think that he might be.
The White House didn't address claims of potential conflicts of interest when asked to comment. Al-Ansari, the Qatari embassy spokesman, said the transfer of the jet was a direct engagement between Qatar's Ministry of Defense and the Pentagon.
Safeguards are in place to prevent any conflict of interest across all areas of the Qatar-US partnership.
Meanwhile, Trump's MAGA base does not seem to be happy with the decision. Far-right activist Laura Loomer slammed President Donald Trump's administration on October 10th over its deepening defense ties with Qatar and made false accusations that spread on social media that the Pentagon was giving it a military base on US soil.
No foreign country should have a military base on U.S. soil, especially Islamic countries. I have never felt more betrayed by the GOP than I do now watching Islamic jihadists get away with implementing Sharia law in the U.S., and now they are getting their own airbase where they will train to kill Americans. This is a setup for America to be attacked by Islamic savages from Qatar, the biggest funders of Islamic terror in the entire world. So much so, the Saudis and Emiratis find Qatar to be toxic. I need to see how much more of my life I'm going to dedicate to a party that won't address the threat of Islam in the West. The betrayal stings. We are losing our country.
Conservative commentator Amy Meck expressed similar outrage.
I am in shock that Washington would approve a deal letting Qatar, Hamas's #1 financier, open a Qatari Air Force facility on U.S. soil at Mountain Home Air Force Base in Idaho. Qatar bankrolls Hamas, ISIS, the Taliban, al-Nusra, and the Muslim Brotherhood. It plays both sides, the arsonist and the firefighter, funding jihad, then posing as a mediator.
She added that the decision reflected a shared delusion, claiming it would become a launch pad for the Islamic disaster. Reacting to the development, Steve Bannon told Newsweek that
there should never be a military base of a foreign power on the sacred soil of America.
Notably, Qatar already hosts around 8,000 US troops at the Al Udeid Air Base, the forward headquarters of US Central Command, which was struck by Iran earlier this year. The two countries renewed their military cooperation there last year. The US does not host any independent foreign military bases. However, several US bases host detachments of foreign militaries and serve as training grounds for foreign personnel, especially pilots, arrangements designed to enhance interoperability, technical expertise, and strategic cooperation with allied nations. Mountain Home Air Force Base in southwestern Idaho exemplifies this partnership model. Located in Elmore County, roughly 50 miles southeast of Boise, the base is home to approximately 5,100 military and civilian personnel, along with 3,500 family members. Singapore's presence at Mountain Home offers a direct parallel to recent partnerships. Singapore's Air Force arrived at the base in 2008, with its F-15SG fighter aircraft following a year later. This long-standing arrangement demonstrates how such collaborations function in practice. The US benefits significantly from hosting foreign militaries. Through the Arms Export Control Act, the government sells defense equipment and services to allied nations as a foreign policy tool, generally when the president determines such sales will enhance US security or promote global peace. Beyond equipment sales, the US military regularly deploys alongside allied and friendly nations, and well-trained allies help protect American troops in the field.